Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 3 walkthrough, Indiana Jones style. In this episode, we're going to continue to get ready for the dancer. We are going to fight the dancer at the very end of the episode. I managed to squeeze it in at the end. It only took like 3 minutes, so I managed to go ahead and throw that in there. Now here, you want to drop down right here. And there's a couple of dogs by this tumped over carriage. They're just guarding some alluring skulls. I don't particularly find them useful yet. Like I said, I'm not finished with the game, so maybe I'll find a use for them. Now, you talk to this guy, and he can do like a little side quest that'll let you get 5 extra free levels, but there's a catch. You have to become hollow, and you'll get the dark sigil and all this and that. We'll talk about that later. Now, here, just wait. Just stay on the right and wait for the gate to open, and these dogs will come out. Now, sometimes they'll come follow you to the lever. I like to try to close the lever before they get back in here, but as you can see, they did not do that. But the fire bandit knife will take care of them, no problem. We have some business to attend to in this level. We have to get Loretta's bone and give it to Grey Rat so that he can do his pillage missions. We'll do that, and we also want to get our whip. It's going to be our main weapon of the game. We're not going to level it up for quite a while because we have to do a lot of stuff before we can even consider investing in dex. We have to kill all 3 bosses: the Dancer, Osiris, and Champion Gunder. But once we do that, we'll be able to level up our whip, no doubt. Now right here, you can go down the stairs to the left if you want to, but I like coming over here because this guy is waiting to ambush you, and if you just come over here, he can't do it. So you want to drop down here. We're not going to go through the house, and there's no reason to go around the corner right there. All it is a repair powder, and those are essentially useless in this game, so I just want to get Loretta's bone here. Cut that corpse down and get it. Now, here we're just going to run. This is kind of sloppy, but we're just going to run. I just don't find any use right now of fighting all these enemies. Now, if you roll into an enemy, they'll be briefly stunned, and you can follow up with an attack. It's very useful in this level. If you come up these stairs and kind of loop around here, the enemies won't give chase for some reason as much, and there's a Titanite shard here. Shards will not become a problem pretty soon because we're going to get the Dreamcatcher ashes, and we'll be able to buy them from the Handmaiden anyway. So that's not going to be an issue anymore, finding the Titanite shards. Going out of our way for Titanite shards is not going to be necessary pretty soon. But along the way, we were going to pick up a few. We're very close to our whip. First, we got to go through a few more enemies, and there's a door that's going to be burst open. And it's kind of a cluster sometimes because all these enemies are going to be funneling in there. This door right here, you just want to get in here and get the whip and get out. Sometimes they block your path. Sometimes I manage to get out of here without a scathe, but here you can say just keep rolling into them, and they'll briefly get stunned, and you can hit them. You want to stick to the right here a couple of times. There's a few areas to the right here we want to go. Now, sometimes the enemies will follow you again. These thrall enemies, I really hate these things. These like ninja-like enemies. No, not this time, but they're the ones that look like Grey Rat, sort of. They're very annoying. But once you get that, then you want to come over here. We got to get a sharp gem from this crystal lizard, so I like to just drop down here and just chase him to the rock wall here and just get rid of him. Now you're going to get invaded here by a very annoying NPC. You can do a few things to try to kill him. I like to try to knock him off, but it doesn't always work. But I found out later, and I did it right here, that we're just going to use the giant's help inadvertently to shoot at him with his great arrows. But here, yeah, I like to... Sometimes you can get him to kill himself or knock himself off there. This guy is very annoying. He'll parry you, and he will heal 3 times. And he's just a very annoying NPC. But it's worth killing him because you'll get extra souls. Quite a bit, actually. And a vertebrae shackle, but we're not part of the Mound Maker Covenant. I would just like to kind of wait him out. I don't want to fight that big dude with this patrolling around. I try to just get this guy to come, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes you just got to take out the big dude regardless. See, he's being stubborn. So, yeah. We're just going to use the giant's help to thin the ranks a little bit here. Work smarter, not harder. I like to run up to about right till these enemies start charging me, and kind of run back, and the giant will start shooting. But if you kind of stay in the vicinity, the giant will eventually shoot. There it is. Takes out a good amount of his health, but it also hurts you at the same time. Now we don't have to deal with the big dude. We can just focus on the NPC. I really hate this guy. But there are a few key items in this graveyard that you want to get. The first being the Undead Bone Shard. The first one we're going to get. We definitely need to get that. And there's another thing. It's not as important, but it's nice to have. It's the Mortician's Ashes. And this will allow the handmaiden to expand her inventory, but also it will give you access to a key which you can use in the sewers to get some more items and find a covenant. Do not attack this guy when he's got his shield ready to parry you, because he will parry you. He's very good at it. But we can probably bleed him out pretty easily, and he will heal over and over. That's what makes him annoying. When he two-hands his weapon, that's when I try to go in. But then he's trying to do his weapon art here. And if he's trying to buff himself, just don't let him do it. And again, he's going to heal. Yeah, I like when the giant shoots him. It's funny. And there he goes. Thank you, giant. And we'll recruit his help later. We wanted this area to be relatively safe to travel, and we have to go talk to the giant and make peace with him before we can come back to this area and loot it. We're not going to loot it right now. It's just too dangerous. We'll die, most likely trying to get the Undead Bone Shard on the right and the Mortician's Ashes on the left. So we're just going to run. Our next objective is to go ahead and make peace with the giant, and that's what we're going to go do right now. But we're also going to open up the new areas that we have to travel. The first being the shortcut. We're going to open up a shortcut first through the sewers, and we're going to get our Cestus, one of our weapons that we're going to have in this build. It's going to be also our parrying tool. It's a very good parrying tool. Very, very good. Here you just roll off and plunge attack this dog, and he'll never stand a chance. Get the Ember there. Now there's a couple of enemies just walking by here, but we're just going to run past them. But there's a dog that's guarding the entrance to the sewers, so we'll have to take him out. And if you run past him, he'll just drop down sometimes. So it's just better go ahead and kill him. There are a convoy of rats coming up, and there's a big rat at the very back covered by that fog. But killing the rat is important because you'll get the blood bite ring, and it's going to come in handy when we get to the untended graves, because we have a lot of enemies that do bleed there. So increasing our bleed resistance is going to be pretty important, because that's going to be our main farming area for the first part of this game. We're not going to do a whole lot of farming, but we're going to be able to get as many large Titanite shards as we want early, and that's huge. And also, it's a guaranteed drop, so it's not like we have to hope they drop them. They always drop them, unless it's a chunk, which is even better. So, but those are the rarer drops. So we got the blood bite ring and the Cestus. Now I don't like to fight the big rat, the second time around. We're just gonna just go down here and avoid him. The rats in this game are not nearly as dangerous as the ones in Dark Souls 1. There's a few ways you can get to the next area. The smarter way is to go ahead and get the Mortician's Ashes, get the key, and open the door into the sewers. And you'll come out of this door where this NPC is sitting. But we'll deal with that later. We'll explore the area later. But we definitely want to get this Ember here. This is the more dangerous path to take to get to the area. But you'll see this right here, off to the left. You see an NPC sitting there. There's a door right down where he's sitting, and that's where you can come out. But you'll need the key that unlocks the door in the sewers to get there. Now, you're invincible when you're opening a door, but this guy, he's a pain in the ass. And he'll follow you pretty much all the way. Well, sometimes he'll start backing up, but I just find it easier just to take him out now. You can't backstab these guys, which is kind of annoying. And they do good bleed damage. Now, here's our buddy, Onion Bro. He can't figure out how to use the lift. He says it only goes down, but truth be told, it goes up. But he already knows about the giant, and he wants to talk to him. So we're going to go talk to the giant ourselves. But first, let's go ahead and take the lift down. We want to unlock a bonfire down here, and we're going to kill a rather tough enemy. Well, he can be tough. We're going to make short work of him. They're called Outrider Knights, I think. They're a pain in the ass. They're very hard. They can be very hard. They're like mini Vorts. We're just going to go ahead and run past him at first and get to the bonfire, then we'll fight him. I'm actually not sure what these things are called. I think they're called Outrider Knights. This is the Road of Sacrifices. We'll come here shortly. But yeah, let's kill this knight because he gives us a good amount of souls, and he'll give you a weapon too, but we're not going to use the weapon, but I like to collect everything that I can get my hands on. But the souls are what we really want. But yeah, you just want to lock onto him. Locking onto him is the better option here. He'll do this charge slam when he slams his sword into the ground. That's the best time to attack him. But if you get in front of him, he can just wail on you with the combos, and that's where you get into trouble. But with our +4 raw, he's gonna go down pretty quick. It's a very convenient bonfire. We can just sit at it, heal, get our Estus back. And now we're going to go get some items. We're going to go get a Chloranthy ring. Flynn's ring, although it's been severely nerfed in this game, it can still be useful, but you basically have to have nothing on. And have only like the Cestus or a very, very low weight item to make use of it. And we're going to get Indy's pants, the Miriam's pants. Trousers. Now right here, activate the lift and get off of it, and the other lift will come down, and this will take us to the giant. Eventually the giant will die if we pick up enough branches, and you can get the hawk ring that way. But you want to face the door. Right there is where you'll eventually go down, where he goes But first we want to take care of the giant here. Business with the giant here. I accidentally sent the lift down like an idiot, so I have to send it back up again. But just talk to the giant and make peace with him. Yeah, once you get enough young white branches, the giant will die. But that's the only way to get the hawk ring if you want that. And he'll help us again in another area on the way to the Cathedral of the Deep, but that'll be in the next episode. Well, I'm not sure if I'll get to that in the next episode. We got to kill those other bosses, and you can time this if you want to, if you know exactly where the platform is, but it's best to just come back up again. Exhaust Onion Bro's dialogue here. He'll talk about this big demon, fire demon that's patrolling the area. We want to make sure we kill him. So we have to get Sigurd's help to help us here.
No, you should have waited. Well, it's too late
It's best for him to get aggro on the onion bro because he can make short work of you. Once his attention is on onion bro, then you can do some bleed damage on him. But he can still do some really massive attacks to you here. Be very careful here. I'm always worried about hitting secret for some reason. Haven't done it yet, but we'll fight another one of these enemies later on, and we'll get a soul from him, in which we can get a nice item that we're going to use called the Demon's Fist. Now, we can get 3 gestures from Onion Bro. The first one here, continue to talk to him, he'll give you the toast. And then he'll go to sleep and just wait a minute, talk to him again, and wait, and you'll get the sleep gesture. There you go. Now we're going to get our crossbow out because we're going to shoot down a couple of corpses. One is got a armor set and the other one has a pale tongue. They're right here. Shoot the head because for some reason that's the only area that will make it fall down that you shoot it. Now, pale tongues you'll give to Rosaria if you want to join her covenant. But you can use her covenant and not offer her any pale tongues because it will fail a quest, an NPC quest, if you give her a pale tongue. Now, let's get our fire bandit knife out because there are dogs up here. There's a couple of them. There's some alluring skulls off here to the left. You don't need to get them. I get them just because, but you're going to usually take a hit right there. From those caged things. I don't even know what they're called. But yeah, there's these 2 dogs here, and there's a chest coming up that's trapped, but we definitely want what's in the chest. It's going to help us with the dancer fight. Called Human Pine Resin. It's basically dark damage buff, but it does good damage to the dancer. But as soon as you open it, enemies fall from above, but you can just grab it and run. Now this next part can be tricky. These 2 Cathedral Evangelists I've actually been one-shotted through the wall with these assholes, and they knocked me off the cliff, off the ledge there. But yeah, we got lucky there, but yeah, I've been screwed over by those. Now here is the nerfed Flynn's Ring. You basically have to be naked and use the cestus to use it properly. Can be very powerful though, but you're going to sacrifice, a lot to use it. Homer Bone here, you're not going to need them for too much longer. Now here you want to jump to that platform right there. You got to be careful because if you miss, you're going to die from the fall. But if you make it to this, then you can just drop down. And there's 2 items here, the Chloranthy Ring and the Mira's trouser. We're going to definitely put those on. That's our pants that we're going to use for this wardrobe, Indiana Jones wardrobe here. We still need our hat and our leather armor though, and we'll get that coming up not too long. We got to go through the swamps to get that. Now we want to make it back to where the giant was shooting at us. We're just going to backtrack. We'll be able to get the Mortician's Ashes and the Undead Bone Shard with no resistance from the giant because he's our friend now. So what I like to do is just stand on this roof and watch the fireworks. It's kind of fun. They can't do anything to you. I like to watch the arrows coming in. Oh yeah, nice. Now we're just going to make our way toward the Mortician Ashes. There's a set of armor right there, but it's trapped, and I don't like dealing with the thrall that comes down. He's got a great sword, and he can cause quite a bit of damage to you. He's killed me a couple times, and I don't like dealing with him. So, and the armor is, we're not even going to use it, so it's a cleric set, I believe. Now, we can loot everything here. Ember there, make sure you get that. Embers are very important. Very important when you're fighting your bosses. We're going to make a quick jump here. Be very careful. And now we have the Undead Bone Shard. Now we're just going to bone back to the bonfire. Make sure you burn your Undead Bone Shard immediately, because I always forget about doing it. And we can give our Estus shards to Andre, and we can get more swigs from our Sunny D. Remember, we need our goal is 9 before fighting the dancer. So once we have 9 and we have 2 Undead Bone Shards, we're going to give her the ashes. But yeah, once we have the 2 Undead Bone Shards and 9 flasks in our armor set, then we're going to take on the dancer. And of course we have to upgrade our Uchi Katana to +4. But let's go ahead and push our vigor to 25, and that's where we need it. We're not going to level up again until we kill quite a few bosses. We're going to kill the dancer, Osiris, and Champion Gunder before we level up again. So it won't be this episode, it'll be the next one. Now, we're on the Road of Sacrifices. Now, the first thing we want to do here is just get through it. This is a short area. There's these Corvians, they call them. If you use the fire knife, you can get through them pretty quick. But when there's a couple of them, that's when you get into trouble. If you get too many at once, they can do this thing where they jump up and start hitting you with their feet, and it does a lot of damage. But right here, we're just going to... This is a storyteller Corvian. We're just going to run past him. He does poison damage, but poison in this game is not that deadly to you. There's a lot of items in this area, but we're not going to worry about it. There's like a version of Man-Eater Mildred down there that has the bandit knife. Butcher knife, I mean. We'll get this shard, and then we're just going to run to the next bonfire. But we do want an ember that the Corvians are guarding, and we'll come back and get that. But there's just too many of them here. We want to kind of reset their positions. And this one, for some reason, wanted to follow me all the way to the bonfire. Usually this doesn't happen. They usually don't follow you all the way to the bonfire. But this one was on a mission, I guess. And he wanted to make sure... You see, that's the one I don't like right there, where they can jump up and hit you with their feet. Yeah, I was kind of surprised at the aggressive nature of that enemy there. But we're going to go back and get that ember. And just run back to the bonfire. We're not going to fight these Corvians. They're not worth our time. Yeah, just grab the ember and get out. See, this one didn't follow me all the way. Now, there's some quest lines here. You want to talk to this woman right here. And her companion Horus. We're not going to do all the NPC quests, but we'll do a couple. The ones that are going to be beneficial to us. Now, you want to stay to the right here and drop all the way down. We're going for a coal. Some coal that we can give to the blacksmith called the Farron coal. This will allow us to use sharp infusions, which what we are going to use for our whip. So So we definitely need to get this. Now these enemies right here are very aggressive, but with the knife, we're just going to wail on them here. A lot of these enemies are weak to fire, so. This entrance right here will lead to the coal. There's a black knight in this area. Now you can actually lure him to this ladder and have him kill himself, but we're going to do that anyway with a couple of NPC enemies. They're not invaders, but they're just guarding the area. But we're going to have them kill themselves as well. But I have had the Black Knight follow me all the way to the ladder as well and commit suicide, so it is possible. You can try it. But I do not recommend fighting the Black Knight right now. But we just want to get the coal and get out. That's basically the mercenary set there. And his weapon. Which we already have anyway. But this is what you really want. The Farron coal. Now we want to make our way towards an Ember. We're not going to go to Farron Keep just yet. We want to get an Ember that's by a campsite, and it's got an Estus shard, so we want to get both items. But we have to make our way towards Crucifixion Woods bonfire. And then we'll have to come back to this area later to fight the boss, the Crystal Sage boss, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to do that after we get Chaos Blade and all this other stuff. Once we start our walkthrough proper, like our normal path through the game. These guys with sticks, they're not going to be too much of a problem. But yeah, you want to come through this area, big archway here. You damn dogs. And locate the bonfire. But you want to come over here first. And you'll drop down and you'll get one of the items, and then there'll be another one by the campfire, but you'll have to fight one of those dudes with the cross on their backs. And they're kind of powerful. Like I say, they can overwhelm you. We're going to backstab this guy. Kill this one. I thought that would have killed him. Alright, now drop down and get the item. And then by the campfire you'll have the Ember. I believe this is the Estus shard here. You will definitely want that. And the Ember. But you gotta be careful of that cross guy. He like I said, he's pretty powerful for this stage. But you can bleed him out pretty quick too. But if he combos you, you're gonna feel it. Now we can make our way to Farron Keep and into the swamp. We're definitely going to want our dagger equipped pretty much all the time, because we're going to use our weapon art to slide through quicker through the swamp. But here's the bonfire. You definitely want to hit this, because we're going to come back to this bonfire later. The Crucifixion Woods bonfire. We're going to come back here later once we are ready. It'll just be a convenient way to get to the boss. Now we're just going to go back to the previous bonfire just because it's quicker. It's kind of confusing in this area. I get kind of confused with the swamp area as well. So I might kind of wander around looking where am I going type thing. So I figured it's just easier to go back to the bonfire. Get my bearings. You basically want to take the same path you just took. Except this time, we're going to fight those NPCs. Well, we're not going to fight them. We're going to have them commit suicide. And watch out for the crab. This crab, man, he will kick your ass. I don't like fighting this crab, so we're just going to run past him. But he will give chase for a while. Just get out of the water. But there's the two NPCs right there. Just get down the ladder a little bit. Maybe the first rung. Have your hand on the first rung or second rung. Actually, I got it on the, yeah, right here. And they'll just commit suicide. There's one. And there's two. Like I said, you can lure the Black Knight here too, and he'll do the same thing. They'll drop their weapons. And a nice bit of souls for you. Now this area is confusing, guys. I still don't really know how to get through this area, but I managed to record it going the right way. So the main thing to do right here is to get the Estus Shard right off the bat, and you can see it off to the left. You don't want to go right because that's got the basilisks will poison you, or not poison you, they'll curse you. So you want to get this item right here, the Estus Shard. Now these slugs are weak to fire, so just use your bandit knife. You're going to be using your bandit knife mostly through this area. Like I said, because you're going to use your weapon art to quickly get through the swamp if it starts to slog you down. Now, you want to stay to the far left. You're going to get another coal called the Sage's Coal, but there's a dark wraith guarding it. But I found out that you can sneak in through the back door and he won't even notice you. And you'll see, I'll pan the camera in a minute. Right here. There he is right there, just standing there. But if you go through the front, obviously he'll see you. But if you come all the way over here and sneak in through this way, he won't even notice you. And you won't draw his aggro. And you'll get the Sage's Coal. We can make blessed weapons with that. Basically your version of divine weaponry. Now, try to stick to the exact path that I am in right now, because I actually did the right way here. I still don't even know where I'm going, to be honest. This is the right way, though. And I recommend going up this ramp coming up to fight these enemies that are in this swamp, because they have, unlike you, they can travel fast in the swamp, and they will just continuously just hit you over and over, and they do a lot of damage. So what I like to do is find this ramp right here. I believe there's a great sword at the top of it, so that's your reference point, I guess. And these enemies will just come to you. Don't fight them in the swamp, trust me. Yeah, the great sword there. But what we're looking for is a ladder that leads to the next bonfire and a covenant. But more importantly, it has the Dreamcatcher ashes, 2 Titanite, well, it's going to have the entrance to 2 large Titanite shards and a Twinkling Titanite lizard. We can kill the crystal lizard to get the Twinkling Titanite. So very important to get this, find this ladder here. So once those guys are dead, let's just take out another one here. Yeah, you can't ignore these guys. If you just try to run through the swamp, they're going to continuously punish you till you're dead. You can see I'm just trying to find out. There's a weapon art right there, so you can continuously hit the left trigger to get through the swamp quickly. Now there's some Estus soup here. We'll come back to this area because we have to kill an enemy to get our hat, which is nearby. Now there's the ladder we were looking for. Very important to locate this ladder. And now you want to come into this area right here with a bunch of slugs, and it has another Undead Bone Shard, which you'll definitely want. Now we have our 2 Undead Bone Shards that we needed to take on the Dancer. Now up the ladder to unlock our bonfire and get our crystal lizard and our Dreamcatcher ashes. Once we get those ashes, Titanite shards are not an issue anymore. We can buy them all we want. And more importantly, we can buy our leather armor from the handmaiden. And then all we need is our hat, like I said, but we're going to kill that enemy. It's kind of an annoying enemy. Quite powerful as well. So there's an illusionary wall to the left there, but we don't want to unlock it until we get this crystal lizard. Because if you try to go through the entrance, the crystal lizard will disappear and you'll have to reset. So kill the crystal lizard first to get the twinkling titanite. We need 15 twinkling titanite to fully upgrade our chaos blade once we get it. Then we'll need a slab to finish it off. But there's the Dreamcatcher ashes and the bonfire. Now we're going to go get our hat. You'll definitely want to use the crossbow to aggro. Only one of these enemies has the hat, so you have to aggro the right one. It's the one to the far right. And if you don't aggro the one on the far right, you're going to have to deal with more than one of these guys, and that is definitely not fun. So what you want to do is come back the way you came a little bit. You'll see this archway ahead of you. There'll be some more of those enemies that you have to take out. We'll take these guys out first before we aggro the enemy to get our hat. They do like these spells, and these pink skulls come out and they follow you and they just do a lot of damage. And then if you get hit by his tree trunk, oh god, good luck. But target the guy on the right, just hit him once and come back and get ready to fight. Don't let him hit you with the tree trunk, please. If he hits you with that, he's also got an AoE attack as well that is kind of hard to judge. Between the skulls and... yeah, there it is right there. See? You definitely don't want to get hit by that. But we're going to do good bleed damage to him. You can tank a few hits, but definitely get healed again. And you can use the archway as a cover from the skulls. But it's best to be aggressive with this guy and just get rid of him. Now we have our hat. So we have everything we need now for our wardrobe. But before we do all that, we need to get 2 large titanite shards from 2 crystal lizards in the vicinity. We're almost ready to take on the dancer. Almost. All we need are these 2 large titanite shards, and we're ready. Now there's a stray demon up here if you want to take him on. He's not terribly difficult, but he's not as easy as the stray demon, well, the tutorial boss in Dark Souls 1, basically. He's not as easy as that, but he's pretty easy. But we're not going to fight him right now. We're just on a mission right now, and we'll come back to him later and take him out, but not right now. You want to drop down here, kind of a semi-hidden area, and you just want to take out the 2 crystal lizards and get out of here. There's actually 3 crystal lizards. One has a heavy gem. We don't really need that, but I just went ahead and killed it anyway. But you just want to hurry up and take out these lizards as fast as possible. Don't waste any time. You have 2 large titanite shards. So even if you didn't trade with the crows at the beginning, you'll have enough regardless right there. And this other crystal lizard, like I said, has a heavy gem, which is like a strength-based gem, but we're not going to use it. Our gems are going to be sharp and fire, basically. And maybe blessed. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going with the blessed item yet. I don't think I want to do it, but there are some benefits to using a blessed weapon. You only get 1 cestus in this game, so in one playthrough, so I don't want to waste it. Of course, I could use a shivering stone to undo the infusion, but I think I'm just going to go with sharp for both the whip and the cestus. But there are some benefits to having a blessed weapon, though. Definitely give the ashes so that we can get our stuff. Now we can get our leather armor set. Basically, it's what we wore in Dark Souls 1 at the beginning. There's no leather jacket this time, so we can't wear that. But now we want to make sure we get all our Estus shards. Now we can put our hat on too. Yeah, now we're fully clothed indie style. We're going to give all the coal to him. And make sure you use all of your Estus shards. And then we're going to upgrade the Uchi Katana to +4. Raw, of course. Oh, we don't have enough. But now we have access to Titanite shards, so no problem. We just got to buy them. 800 a pop. And once we have our Uchi Katana to +4, we're ready for the Dancer. And we're going to go ahead and take her on now. I recommend making a backup save at this point if you're playing on PC. It's relatively easy to make a backup save, but if you're on console, I don't know what to say. I guess just try to get good, I guess. But making a backup save is the way to go because you'll be able to save all your embers and your buffs because we want to use our human pine resin on the Dancer's second phase. Now, because I didn't like the bonfire, I'm just going to run back to it anyway. And while I'm running to the bonfire, I'll just talk about the boss. The Dancer, considered by many to be one of the hardest bosses in the game. It can be daunting, but there's a few things you can do to make it easier on yourself. The right leg is obviously what everybody says to hang behind, and that's true. You need to hang behind the right leg of the Dancer at all times if you can. Position is the key to the victory in this fight. But also, you have to learn how to dodge her attacks and know which attacks are coming, because if you don't, you're going to die anyway. But the problem with the Dancer is that she combos so often, and usually one hit will lead to 2, and then 3, and then you're dead. So being embered is going to help a lot. But it's going to be relatively easy for us to take on the Dancer at this phase because we have a katana that does bleed. And with a katana that does bleed, plus we're going to put dark damage on it once we trigger her second phase, you want to make sure that you have the as many rings as possible. Definitely have the blue tearstone ring equipped and the chloranthy ring. The Flynn's ring isn't going to do anything for you because once you reach a certain weight, it's not even going to do anything, so relatively useless with what we're wearing now. But yeah, the Dancer, yeah, for the second phase, that's the hardest phase. The first phase is not too hard. You're basically just going to hang by her right leg, and she's going to stagger about 8 or 9 hits. And then when you bleed her out, she's going to probably do that second phase. And during the transition of the second phase, you can put in at least, try to have a full stamina bar and have dark on your weapon, and you can inflict a ton of damage on her. Here we're going to do a quick edit because I did die to her a few times. Alright. You can see I'm not embered anymore. That's because I died. So we're going to do it again. I've already triggered the boss once, so the fog wall is up. I don't recommend wasting any buffs for the first phase because the first phase is too easy. It's easy once you get the hang of it. Now the second phase is hard because her attacks just do a ton of damage. So you have to be very careful. Alright, let's get behind her right leg. You can lock onto her if you want to, But it's just better, I think, to not use lock on. If you keep rolling towards her right leg, you can dodge most of her attacks, especially the grab, which is like a 1D. Now this is what you want. You want her to do that attack, especially in the second phase. When she's doing that circle fire, you can put in a ton of damage because if you stay by her right leg, you continuously wail on her while she's doing it. And damage during the second phase is the key to victory. The first phase is easy enough. You're just going to continue to roll past her right leg. We're going to imbue dark, and we're just going to go to town on her. Before she starts her 7 spins, she will do 7 spins right after she transitions. And you want to get behind her and hit her as many times as you can, but always be ready to see what move's coming out. We got lucky here because we got good RNG. RNG is going to help you here. And when she stabs her sword into the ground here, you can run in and do a stab attack, follow up with a few hits. She'll also do these poke moves, as you can see. Whenever she does that move where she uppercuts, you can come behind her and do a few more hits. The basics is just don't get in front of her. Stay behind that right leg, and if she does face you, try as hard as you can to get behind her again. I really wish I could help you with more tips, but really that's the gist. You have to get behind her right leg and just learn her moveset, really. But as you can see, very possible. We're only like level 23, and we killed her, so with the Uchi Katana Raw +4, it's relatively easy once you learn her moveset. And that's it. We'll get 60-something thousand souls for our troubles. I'll see you guys in the next one.